All right, I think we are ready to go. We might make a start, Roberto.
It sounds very delicious, my good man.
Excellent. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching right around the world. It's been a while, almost forgot what I was saying there, but hello everybody and welcome. We are back on Project Cars 2. We're back streaming, and tonight we have a GT4 social race here at Imola, otherwise known as the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Dino Ferrari here at Imola, host of the San Marino Grand Prix for some time, and who knows, it could even be the host of the San Marino Grand Prix this year, given the cancellation of the Grand Prix in China, as we see these beautiful looking cars coming out onto the track. And speaking of beautiful, it's time to introduce my co-commentator. It's been a while, Roberto, but we are back. Welcome to you.
Yeah, it's been a long time no see, Trev, and it is nice to be back. I think last time we broadcasted together was probably... I don't think that race with IndyCars really counts considering I was racing that one, but I do believe it would have been the F1 game, and boy, do we have some fond memories of that.
We sure do, as we see Mr. We've got a few new faces here tonight for everyone watching. Big hello to Bradley there. The man, apparently I call him the wrong name, but anyway, he says, "Heyo," and Kane Leishman. Yes, one of the beloved regulars here on the live stream. 5 people watching this stream, Rob. That can only be a good thing. Can only hope Imola is back on the grid, says Bradley, so he's a fan of this track. And speaking of this circuit, Rob, there's been several different layout changes, hasn't there? We had obviously the layout prior to Ayrton Senna's accident, and then 95 it changed, of course, and then there were some more recent changes, but still it's a classic track, and it would be nice to see it back on the calendar this year.
Yeah, it would be fantastic to see the circuit back on the calendar. It's actually one of my personal favourite tracks as well. It's very challenging, especially this bit down here. It's really hard to get right, and of course the chicane at the top of this hill, notoriously hard to get right. But it's just an exciting circuit, isn't it? I mean, I don't think I've ever watched a race here and been bored, so it'd be good to see this one back.
Certainly will be. The Variante Bassa, of course, turns 17 corners. The infamous Tamburello corner, which was changed after the 1994 race, of course. The Villeneuve corner down to the Tosa hairpin. The Piratella, the Aqua Minerale, which we see waffles and bits coming through now. Not quite as challenging as what it used to be back in the 90s. Before I'm not sure what he's doing there, Rob. He's trying to warm his tyres up, but he's pretty much gone straight onto the green stuff. And this is a very challenging corner, this one. The Variante Alta before the Ravazza. It's always been quite bumpy there, hasn't it, over the years, that corner?
Yeah, incredibly bumpy. Of course, I'm a little bit out of shape when it comes to the old streaming, but yeah, incredibly bumpy. It's easy to snatch a front brake, but it's even easier to get the rears locked up and all out of shape into the corner. Of course, you got that bit of a gravel trap down there where Alonso famously had a bit of a sack back in 2002, I do believe, if my memory does serve me correct, and yeah, very treacherous part of the circuit. The whole circuit's just one big area where you can just go kill yourself, and yeah, Ron Restenberger and Ayrton Senna found that the hard way.
They certainly did. And, geez, we are a little bit rusty, but we will get back into it. San Marino, a mountainous microstate surrounded by north-central Italy. Just some useless stats. We love our useless stats. It is among the world's oldest republics. Retains much of its historic architecture. And I'm sure you couldn't have got through the rest of the evening without knowing that. As well, we've got 11 and a half minutes to go in this qualifying session. Back to the on-track action. And Jason Wilkinson says, Roland Dane slowed the Stang down. Big hello to you, Wilco. You are racing, still in the garage. He's currently listed as being in the pits. We've got 3 drivers still in the pits here so far in this session. And as far as I know, Rob, this race should go for roughly half an hour. And from what we're hearing, there could be some changeable weather conditions as well.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of rain to jazz things up a little bit. Zhuzh it up, as Jamie Oliver would say, zhuzh it up and get a little bit of oil on the circuit. Maybe Wilco can be on top of the grandstand there making it rain. I'm starting to feel like this is a strip club from GTA. Actually, I have been enjoying your Shane Warne videos, Trent, just on a different topic, but yeah, he may like to make it rain quite a bit, that young man.
Certainly did, and while Wilco's doing a bit of a rain dance up there here at Imola tonight, speaking of changeable conditions, there's Kart Dude on the edge there, and don't they look beautiful under lights, these cars, Rob? The Mustang, I think we've got an Aston Martin as well, and a couple of other cars. What do we got here? What's this car?
Ginetta. This is a Ginetta. It has a very smiley face. It kind of looks like a guppy type of fish. But it's a fun little car, very pointy. Can get the arse end out on it, but yeah, very, very pointy. And it's just a joy to drive. I think it has a Ford EcoBoost in it, so that's why it's very high revving compared to the Mustangs of Kart Dude, and of course Wilco are driving with the big thumping V8s, and they're actually quite slow tonight, so we expect those to be spinning off into the crowds at any point tonight.
Spin, 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 that's for sure. Hopefully we'll see plenty of action, but these beautiful cars, they just look so nice, don't they? The GT4 cars, lovely jubbly indeed, as Jamie Oliver would say. I'm not too sure how we got onto Jamie Oliver, but we always have a theme going here for these streams, and 6 people watching now. That is absolutely magnificent, and not bad numbers, Roberto, considering we've been offline for a month or so. But we are back now as Righty goes through the Tosa hairpin. This track many, many years ago was very, very tough on brakes, because you had that sort of flat-out run down to the Tosa hairpin. A little bit like that now, ever since the chicane was sort of removed, wasn't it, Rob, at the very anti-Bassa, where Barrichello went off. That corner is pretty much flat now from the Ravazza straight down to Tamburello.
Oh, it certainly is flat, because there used to be a bus stop section there, and that's where Barrichello mounted the curbing and went straight into the catch fencing, and he was very, very lucky to walk away from that one. Indeed, he didn't actually immediately walk away from it, but yeah, he was very lucky to escape that one alive, to be honest. But yeah, it's gone through a lot of changes and different phases. It's not as quick as it used to be. That being said, the pit complex there went from a chicane at one point to a bus stop to a right-left onto the start-finish straight, and now it's a flat-out run again. So, gee, I wonder what else is held for the future of the circuit, because it's one of those evolving things. It's almost a Pokemon in a lot of ways.
Certainly is. Hard to catch as well as Righty now. We're getting towards the business end of this qualifying session here at Imola. Short fuse now on your screen. What's he done? I can tell you what he's done. He's gone P2 now. He's 0.8 of a second. And Waffles out front, Rob, all in a class of his own. We didn't have an idea with these GT4 cars around this circuit what a good time would be, but a 152, 0.8. And then there's a huge gap, isn't there, as well, back to third place. And we've got a couple of new faces in here as well, Rob. Dal and Diz and OGT. So it'll be interesting to see. What do we got here? Dar Rimple Dimple. Is he in third place, is he, or is that...
Yeah, he's in third place and also in the pit, so he's obviously having a quick slash or something, getting ready for his next laps, because there's nothing worse than getting on the brakes and almost shitting yourself. So it's always good to be empty, lighter for the car, lighter for the driver.
Yep, that's I was having a shit. Be lighter for the race then, Kimmy. Yes, the presentation by Pele. Yeah, sorry, anyway, I'm just going on a bit there as Brad comments. He says, spin, 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 round, round, round he goes. Where he stops, nobody knows. But OGT 328, what will he do now? Is he starting a hot lap? A final hot lap. Let's have a look here across the line. I think he might be starting a hot lap now. Currently 14 seconds, but look at the traffic, Roberto. This is not a good start. I think he might have got around there, but now he's into the wall, and he is not getting out of there in a hurry.
He is definitely not getting out of there in a hurry. And Diz Rasta, yeah, that man smokes on the pot, doesn't he? Back to Waffles and Bits, which is a lot more wholesome name, very Christian. We're a Christian channel here, obviously. Praise the Lord.
Yes, and none of this business. Waffles and Bits, nice and simple, easy to say, easy to pronounce. None of this uppercase and lowercase pot smoking sort of stuff, Rob. We don't really agree with that in our religion. But we won't go into our political or religious views at the moment with 5.5 minutes left. Isn't it great to be back? Oh, yes, all 7 people are watching. The Stangs look phenomenal, says Bradley, as that's my baby in the background there. She should be asleep at this time of the evening, as Waffles and Bits now coming up to the Ravazza. He's going very slowly here. And, well, is anybody going to challenge his time? I have to ask you, Rob. And so far, it's not looking likely with 5 minutes left in this session. I
mean, it's hard to say because, I mean, I've only driven the GT4 class with the Ginetta, so, and that's a single mate category, so it's only Ginettas on the circuit. So to have all the other cars thrown in on top, it's a big question mark. But you know what? It's one thing to be quicker in the qualifying. It's another thing to be quick in the race, and sometimes those things don't translate well together as a BMW goes off the circuit there, of course not using his indicators when it's an absolute pleb.
Yes, a bit of a noob style action there, I think you can say. As Hook says, Rob, better to call him Diz. It's just easier, and we're all up for whatever's easier. As Mark McKinlay, that name just rolls off the tongue. He sounds like a premiership player for Adelaide back in 97 and 98, doesn't he? He says, sorry, I something because I'm terrible. Best commentary ever. Diz loves a bucket bong, he says. So, Rob, you're not too far off the mark. And Mark also saying, if you leave assists on, I'd be top 3. But big thank you to you, Mark. I'm assuming that Mark is either Diz or Dal, or one of them, Rob, but I'm sure we'll sort it out before the end of the evening.
Yes, we'll sort it out before the evening, and yes, I've been there before with the old the gravity bongs. I won't go into that any deeper for any future employers watching our Christian channel, of course, but Short Fuse is looking very, very quick. He's actually quite quick in these GT4 cars. He's been managing the hustle, but he's got just stuck behind that Mustang again. And he's a beautiful standing Aston Martin as Mustang does its natural habit and tries to take people out. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight.
It certainly is, as we've got Jason says he wants to see Rob in his Speedos. No, I'm reading that comment wrong. Oh no, it's the Speedo, Rob. He wants to see the Speedo. He might want to see you in your Speedos. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there we go.
I
beautiful.
I have pictures.
Well, a few of the videos on the group are a little bit revealing. Anyway, we'll leave that there for the time being. As Hooked, LJ Hooker, you're the best, says Bubble Jug. And Mark McKinlay over the top now to Nigel Smart. Anyway, he says, I was Mr. Bubble Jug, but I quit already. That's not very nice. He's quit before the end of qualifying. Anything can happen in the race, and it usually does. Look at me last week, 9th to 4th, as Waffles and Bits, who now is 1 second clear at the top of the order. Just having a moment there at the Tosa hairpin, and I reckon he's going to get around and possibly have one more go at improving on his time of a 152.273. And then second and third, a second back to second and third. Then it's Righty and Jason as we ride on bonnet cam with Compact. And where's he? Seventh at the moment, a 155.9, just scraping into the 1 minute 56s, but still 3.6 seconds off the pace. As Bradley says, even with assists on, I'd be a day and a half behind. And not too much love there, Bradley. One of the untouchables, of course, Rob, who could forget that? He says he's terrible at project cars too. Our man always a bit harsh on himself there, Bradley.
Yes, he's always a bit harsh on himself. He's a bit of a weapon though in the F1 games. Of course, after my ban, he took over my seat in the Red Bull and came second or third, which is not bad on first showing, and of course an absolute legend seat. But he's quite handy on these sort of games. A bit of time will tell. Maybe a little bit more practice in project cars. Maybe buying will get him over the line. But you know, who knows? But it'd be interesting to see what this man can't do. He's quite handy in touring car sort of situations, and even though he's sitting 6th at the moment, I don't think that's going to be telling the full story, because Wilco's actually beaten his best practice time so far by about a second and a half. So I think there might be some pace in these Mustangs during the race.
Yes, beautiful looking cars, and they are working beautifully as Cart Dude now with 36 seconds remaining in this session comes across the line, currently in P6. The start-finish line is a little bit further back nowadays, but Can't Dude there goes up to P4, so currently, provisionally anyway, a second row start on the grid. As Bradley saying, even with assists, I've already read that comment, haven't I? He'd be a day late and $1 short. He says pad only, and he reckons hashtag F1 2020 comeback. And oh my holy Jesus, we have ticked over to 11 people watching this stream. Very religious stream too at that, Rob. But 12 people watching. We have more followers than Jesus Christ at the moment. These numbers are absolutely outstanding in our comeback stream.
Although if we do lose one more person, we'll have 11 long-haired friends of Jesus, of course, with the song Convoy. Of course, we don't lose viewers. Just keep watching. Don't leave, because otherwise we're out of a job, and Wilco will go back to whipping us in his basement. That's a different story for later, though. As Dale Ripple finally gets past that Mustang. Look how big that Mustang is compared to the Janetta. That's a big size comparison. Just like us in the showers trip.
Well, I tell you what, it looks a bit like that as well. Just going each and every way there. Well, just seeing the replay on the other screen there. Short fuse. Now, what can he do? Qualifying is done. We've got back down to 10 viewers on the live stream now. Don't go anywhere. You heard what Roberto said. Short fuse lights flashing now. Last qualifying run as a car just disappears there from the middle of the track. And here we go, short fuse coming down to turns 14 and 15 at the Rabatza. And here we go, as Jason says, Brody, pole position for Tier 2. Tier 2 pole position there for Can't Dude, the man from Tasmania. Somebody getting out of the way there, letting short fuse come across the line. He's currently in third position on the grid with a 153.320. Can he improve on his time? I think the finish line is coming up now. And he does, Rob, and he goes to second. So a front row start for short fuse there, but what can Righty do? The man who also has a kid. He's currently in P5 and he will stay there. And that is the end of this qualifying session here at the San Marino circuit here at Imola. Waffles and Bits takes a comprehensive pole position by 0.8 of a second. The only man in the 152s. Then it's Short Fuse and Rimple Dimple there as well in P3 as we go through the order. Can't Dude, the first of the Tier 2 guys, the boys are saying on the comment section. Then it's Righty, and then our man Wilco, who we do not favour at all, rounding out your top 6 ahead of Compact Big Dick Johnson. Not often you see Big Dick that low down. Sorry. On the order as OGT, Womp, and other people off the page who I haven't been able to get to. But we have 11, I think it's Diz, the Bong Man Diz, who's starting in P11 on this grid. 15 laps around this circuit here at the Autodromo Enzo E. Dino Ferrari. 17 corners, 15 laps. God, it's good to be back. Praise Jesus as we get ready to go racing, Rob.
Yes, praise Jesus, praise Jesus. Of course, we do love a man, Jesus, with his chiseled body and just beautiful, beautiful abs and long hair. He certainly turns my light on at night when I'm, of course, praying next to my bed on my knees every night.
Yes, he might look a little bit Arabic. I guess we can't say that, can we? But 11 people, 33 comments. Keep them coming in. Not sure quite where I was going with that one, but he knows I'm joking, I'm sure. And I'm sure he will be watching this up in the big YouTube land in the sky. Wilco says there might be rain at the end. Oops. I don't know about the oops, Wilco. I reckon there's a very good fucking chance of rain. Oh, we're swearing again. As Kane Leishman says, looked like I might have had some competition if I was racing. And thank you for that. Praise Jesus. And Bradley saying Senna is his religion. Reto Senna. Senna sempre. Senna mucho. And thank you, Bradley, for that. I watched the Senna movie the other day when I was cleaning out the cupboard. Found the DVD, so that's magnificent. And Can't Dude saying Bradley is just a wannabe me. Or he could be talking to me. Rob, I'm confused. The tension is killing me. As these 11 drivers all stare down into turn 1, ready to go.
Yes, and it's about to get going, Trev. I'll let you do the honours.
All right, here we go then. We're back in business. 15 laps here at Imola. in Italy. Here we go then, 11 drivers, lights out, away we go. Waffles gets a good start off the line. Everybody's got away cleanly, I reckon. Back to Diz on the bong. Big Dick Johnson even further down. He's already lost a position off the start line as coming into turn 1. Tamburello there, Dalrymple on the inside, compact. In P6 currently, Womp, our famous cameraman, stays in P8 off the line, and I reckon they've all got away cleanly, and as soon as I say that...
Compact's around, Big Dick Jono's around, it's absolute disasters for the Mustangs. Let's be honest, we're not surprised.
No, as well, Compact and Big Dick Johnson, terrible start for them, but Waffles is away in the lead, and just the same as qualifying, Rob, he's a second ahead of everybody else so far.
Yeah, so far so good for Waffles. He did a great start there, but you know what? Anything can happen. He could spin. Anything could happen. He did a spin last week in Laramie to pick up my first win in 6 months, which is a little bit sad to say, but you know, Waffles is an extremely good competitor, and I'm sure he'll keep that car nice and tidy for 15 laps, but boy, it's going to go pretty pear-shaped like that. I just can't believe oh my lord, that's someone needs a new spleen.
And Righty there has just dropped down the order there. Contact, I didn't see who it was with, but he's down to 9th place now as our man Wilco currently in P5. I reckon Womp might have a penalty as well. But lap 1 out of 15 here in San Marino. And oh, holy God, stop everything, because Alan Shep has just joined the stream. As Rimple Dimple, bit of lag there, he's gone off the track and now he's back on the track. Very strange indeed, as Big Shep checking in tonight from the, where is he? The Royal Hotel in Upper Ferntree Gully, Burwood Highway in Victoria. If we could get a postcode with that, that would be magnificent as well. And he's playing trivia tonight, Rob. Our man Shep, probably a few frothies deep. And I'd love to be joining you too, Shep, for a frothy tonight, but a big hello to you, and stick around because this man loves our impersonations, and as Bradley says, aliens are to blame for Dimple's disappearance there. It could be that Russian submarine or the Chinese submarine. We haven't seen it lately, Rob, but wow, the viewers going through the roof at the moment, and what a hectic start to this race. But Waffles still in a league of his own out in front at the moment.
Yeah, Waffles is absolutely pissed off, Trevor. I'm just thinking, should I get the phone number for the Upper Ferntree Royal Hotel and give it a call, see if I can get Shep on the phone and maybe ask him a couple of F1 questions from back in the day?
We certainly should, as no, I thought my microphone had been muted there. But anyway, big hello as well to Grinner, who is also a mate of Shep's. He says, hey boys, great to have your company. And now 13 people, double figures. Do I mention how many people watch this stream? I don't think I do enough. But lap 2 out of 15. And what's happened to Waffles? Oh, Jesus, I've been waffling on. See what I did there, Rob? And now he's back in second position. Look at this. First, second, third and fourth. Down to Cart Dude all together. And then Wilco 4 seconds further back in fifth. And Big Dick Johnson, who had a shit, awful start, is currently up to 6th. What a strange race we've got here.
Absolutely strange races. I do have the phone number for the Royal Ferntree Gully Hotel in Burnwood, Victoria. I do have the phone number. I'm ready to call at any point. And I do believe I should probably say that this is Shep's wife. I would like him to come home now, at least talk to me on the phone to see what he's doing, because I know he's an alcoholic. And
maybe we could at some stage, Big Shep, we won't forget about you. Lap 2, make that lap 3 in fact. And 1.8 seconds covers the top 4. There's some other close battles further down the field. But this one is getting me moister than an oyster at the moment, I've got to say, because he is right up Short Fuse's backside at the moment. And the pressure, then we've got Cart Dude as well, right up behind Nicky Dell, who's a football player. I don't know why I said that, but we might find our way to calling the Royal Hotel in Upper Ferntree Gully at some point this evening, Shep. And we might have to ask whoever's working behind the bar to just pick Shep out, and we might get him on the phone for a cameo there down at the Burwood Highway in Victoria. Or we could make out we're someone else, who knows, but stick around for that. I'm sure it'll be hilarious.
Oh, he's down the dive.
Oh, Jesus, down the inside, Rob, and I reckon he's got the job done.
Yeah, beautiful move. It was a little bit late, but you could see he just had that momentum behind him, and I'm pretty sure Short Fuse knew that was going to come from any day. I do believe these two they race together quite often, so Short Fuse knew it was going to come eventually, and he saw that dive and let him have it. There's no point arguing over a lap 3 pass when you got 15 laps in a row. So Short Fuse there with a smart move, Waffles with a really beautiful overtake, I'll be honest. But got to say, Dal Dimple and Can't Do behind these two are looking pretty racy with between themselves as well. But got to say, Short Fuse isn't being dropped back very quick, so you don't know. I don't know if the Aston's any quicker in a straight line or not, but there could be a move on here.
There certainly could be. It's a long run from the final couple of corners, the Ravazza corners, then across the start-finish straight down to Tamburello at turn 1, and Waffles has, well, he might be under a little bit of pressure here. I know what you're talking about, and don't forget about Dal either. What was his name again? Dal Rimple, I think it was. Dal, we'll call him Dimple. There we go, for short, as I'll tell you what, first and second, and he's had a moment, Rob, and he's off the track.
He was on the track, he's off the track again, he's around, and he's not even driving a Mustang. Well, what is that all about?
And speaking of Mustangs there, I think, did we see Wilco go through? The camera went out of focus there for a short period of time, but that promotes Cart Dude up to third, and Jesus, Heaven, Mary and Joseph. Womp and Short Fuse now with a penalty. I wonder where Short Fuse picked up that penalty. Robert, must have been a corner cut or something like that, but he's getting very close again to Waffles, and we've got a great battle here.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a, I'd say, during the last sector, Waffles is definitely a lot quicker than that Ginetta, being a more pointy car, a lot more easy to handle, but that Aston was mega down the stroke. Just watching the timesheets, and he's Waffles' lead was actually dropping by a significant margin, so if he can get out of that last corner quick enough, there could be a little bit of a dive happening. But now that I've said that, Waffles is absolutely pissed off.
He certainly has, as Big Dick Johnson up to P5, all down to P6 now. Spicy little battle, and somebody's off there, Big Dick Johnson, and was it Righty possibly? They were close together on the timing screens, Rob, but boy, there is a little bit of argy-bargy. And did Big Dick Johnson get a nudge? It's a nice livery on that car, I must say. But what happened there? Plenty of spiciness in the midfield tonight.
I mean, as I said earlier in the stream there, Trev, Mustangs do tend to go towards victims, and I can see, well, you can see there that those two boys there were almost Rolf Harris's victims. So I don't think I just called Big Dick Jono Rolf Harris, but I think I did.
Bit of stay away from the Cardinal Pell jokes. You know how much trouble we got in last time. As here comes our man Wilco, and Bradley says, Cart Dude in Tier 1 now. Where's the rest of the Stangs? And the contact down the main straight there. Wilco will not be happy with that at all. I think it was Wilco and Righty, if I'm not mistaken. As through the Tamburello we go. Somebody else is off there. I tell you what, they must be very twitchy, these cars coming through those through that Tamburello corner. And Righty, who had a moment earlier in the race, Rob, is off the track again.
I think I know what's happening here, Trev. I think the temperatures dropped significantly, and now it's getting a bit too hard for the tyres to stay the temperature. So I reckon that could be a pretty good bet to what's happening. And Righty, who started off so well, has dropped down through the field, and Waffles is just pissed off again. So let's not worry about him, even though he's doing a fantastic drive. Won't take anything from him, but I think it's all about these boys who are a little bit closer in the pack.
Certainly will, taking nothing away from Waffles, of course. That's magnificent out there, but it's pretty fucking boring, I must say. We're not taking anything away, like you said, Rob, from Waffles, but it's not what we're taking away, it's what we're giving back. And it's always good to give something back here. And Compact and Big Dick Johnson, we had, how many? 11 people started this race, and they went off right at the start. And now they're back up to P5 and P6 respectively. As someone having a bit of a moment there, was it our man Wilco, who's currently in P4? Or am I just talking out of my arse? In fact, no, I've completely messed that up. Talk about a little rusty there, but keep your comments coming in. As Bradley, Cart Dude,
that's in the arse.
Right up the ginger there, as Compact says, piss off, I'm coming through. to Big Dick Johnson. And who's that off in the background? That must be OGT, is it? No, Big Dick Johnson? I'm confused.
It's BDJ.
BDJ, the man who changed his PSN name to probably avoid being called Big Dick Johnson, but instead we christened him Big Dick Johnson very early on in the piece, if my memory serves me correctly. And what about this chap, OGT328? And every time,
could not fucking time that.
Every time you give him, what did Dennis Cometa used to say? He goes, you give them a rap and they'll let you down every time, Rob. Oh, someone else is on.
No, that's righty again.
Oh, it's going from bad to worse, as Hooked says, LJ Hooker saying, what happened at Carty? And Brad saying, rubbing is racing for Jimbo. Commentators curse all right every time we put the camera on someone. They fuck it up, don't they, and bottle it and end up off the track. But meantime, here's Wilco. So 11 drivers started this race, and only 8 are left from Waffles to Womp. First to 8th, covered by a minute and 6.5 seconds. So roughly, I don't think anybody should be lapped in this race as we approach half distance now. But Wilco, he's looking good at the moment, I must say, Roberto. He could be on for a podium there if Dimple doesn't keep his shit together.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, but it feels like every time we put the camera on somebody, it's like one of those dodgy Lebo builders who Current Affair always goes after it. Who the fuck was it? It was Dimple.
Dimple. Well, the camera was near him. It's actually a thing. I've put it in the comments. It's actually a thing. The commentators curse as Wilco, who knows damn well he's on camera, just flashing in front of the camera. That sounds a little bit strange, doesn't it? A bit of Rolf Harris style there, I must say. You started it, Rob. I tell you what, you started digging the Rolf Harris hole. We better just stop there. But lap 6 out of 15, currently watching Dimple. And, gee, they're dropping like flies at the moment. If you can just keep the thing on the black stuff and all 4 wheels and tyres pointing in the right direction, you might get a good result and even a podium, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, Wilco got a podium out, but I'm sort of lost for words. But as I was going to say, every time the camera's on somebody, it's like one of those dodgy Lebos who's a builder on a Current Affair, and he just shoves the camera out of the way and something bad happens. Feels like that.
Yes, first tonight on a Current Affair, a dodgy Lebanese builder. And then they always get really pissed off, don't they?
Yeah. So, oh my God, just leave me alone. I just did the fucking job, and there's no even fucking hole in the fucking roof. Just leave me alone. I'm just gonna go get my fucking kebab, and I'm gonna leave you alone, alright?
How dare you come up to my place of work and fucking you get the fucking camera off, Anyway, you know how it goes, and boy, they would be an endangered species, the camera and the kebab. And Hooked says Trev has it perfectly scripted. They think that Wilco, they think it's scripted, the people think it's scripted, so Wilco gets on the podium. This is incredible, and now Wilco says, I'm slowing it down for the boys. What is going on here? Hashtag scripted, Rob.
Oh, it feels a little bit competition caution here, I've got to say, but I think Wilco might have made a mistake there. He was on the podium, and now he can be getting swallowed up, and it's just almost went up somebody's backside, Dalrymple Dimple. That's quite fun to say, actually, Dalrymple Dimple. Dalrymple Dimple has the nipple.
So safety car deployed. You want to keep those tyres warm on the restart, fellas. Look what happened to Ayrton all those years ago. Down there, Dimple. Too soon, Rob? No, just kidding. Sempre. As look at these boys here. Lap 8 out of 15. It's getting pretty fucking dark at the moment, and there's going to be a sprinkle of rain later on. And they're off again. There's something going on at turn 1. Because the Big Dick Johnson is off the track again as Hooked. LJ Hooker wants to know, where's the fully sick VL Turbo, bro? As Dimple.
You can't. Fully sick fucking VL Calais, bro, on Bump James. Got the fucking fully sick subwoofer in the back. I've got my fat ass girlfriend in the back too. She's fucking holding the kebab, eh?
Absolutely incredible. I was just admiring Dimple's line there across that corner there. It's very strange indeed across the gravel trap as Game Rescue. Geez, I do fuck up that name a bit, don't I? Says hashtag yeah the fucking boys. Yeah, fucking hell, can't get fucking smashed. Yeah. And Cart Dude says, is the rain coming? Interesting question. As lap 8 out of 15, it's looking pretty dark, and the clouds are starting to build. As Brad says, still too soon for any Ayrton Senna jokes, Rob.
Yes, apparently it's still too soon. It's Dalrymple. No, it's not Dalrymple. It's Big Dick Jono having a look, getting sideways off the curbing. Those Mustangs just want to kill everybody in the grandstands, but the skill of Big Dick Jono and Wilco there just keeping him well contained within the circuit as Big Dick Jono just has a look on around the outside. Not going to happen there, but now he's left himself a little bit open for Dalrymple Dimple. Dalrymple Dimple's going to get on backside of Big Dick Jono. It's starting to sound like a horse race. Jason Wilkinson in first. He's sprinting for the line. And Dalrymple Dimple absolutely sniffing the behind of Big Dick Jono. Of course, Big Dick Jono doesn't have a large behind, but he certainly has a big dick.
He certainly does, front and back. That's where it's at for Big Dick Johnson now. But just look how close they are. Waffles doesn't really give a shit about this out in front. And then it's a short fuse in second, but the battle for the final podium place is heating up, and it does sound like a horse race as Jason Wilkinson leads the battle ahead of Big Dick Johnson. Big Dick Johnson now just ahead of Jason. Oh yes, he's done it up into P3. The man who's spun out more than Kylie Minogue in that song with the gold shorts. Who could forget that? But now, Wilco back up into P3. What a battle this is. And don't forget about Mr. Dimple there too.
Yeah, never forget about the Dimple. Dimple, Wimple, Nipple, Kajimple. I've lost all rhyming words. I do feel like I've lost some brain cells also saying such things, and now the sideways, not sideways, side by side would be more impressive if that was sideways, side by side, but that's never going to happen as Big Dick Johnny just gives him a little fender and says, fuck you buddy, this is my position, and now Rimple Dimple's coming up to the inside of Wilco there, having a look. Maybe he's going to send it down the inside. I fucking hope he does.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Mary and Joseph 3 wide coming up to the Variante Alta. That would be a pretty good fucking thumbnail, Womp, if you are watching, because he's not in the race anymore. So get an image of that. That could be our YouTube thumbnail. But look at this. Waffles and Short Fuse have checked out at the front, but with 6 laps to go, it's Big Dick Johnson in third, just ahead of Jason Wilkinson. No favourites at all. And then it's Dimple, compact, having a bit of a wank down there in 6th, and OGT doing what he does best. As let's have a look at these comments. Cart Dude says, hashtag Ask Crofty. How would Chuck, if Chuck could, Chuck would. You got to get up pretty fucking early to beat me, Cart Dude, but thanks for the comment anyway. As Brad says, should have put money on it, fuck. And how much would Chuck if Chuck could, Chuck would. Yeah, nice try, dickhead. You didn't get me there either.
Come on, you got to do it quicker than that, buddy.
And
how much
fuck off, I love you, man. Sorry, I got a bit caught up in this as Hooked. LJ Hooker says, bromance going on here. And Cart Dude says, Kid Byers, can you do your best Bruce McAvaney? Big Dick Johnson now, just ahead of Wilco. You just get the feeling this is spicing up, don't you?
Wilco on the inside, he's having a look. Big Dick Johnson forced out of the hole. Oh, I don't think he'd be used to that, but Dalrymple Dimple up the clucker of them both again, but Big Dick Jono, he's up the inside, he's going to go long, deep, hard, he's one of the last of the late breakers, he's absolutely got it in there, and he's started to make Wilco cry.
And there is a big dick right up the inside, you'd reckon, of Wilco there, and that... It's after, is it? No, it's not after 9 p.m. here in Victoria. Can we say that? Anyway, oh, look at this, almost 3 wide again. It's just 5 laps to go into the end of this one. When is the rain coming, LJ Hooker? LJ Hooker, oh, Big Dick Johnson having a moment there. He just needs to keep his composure. was about to say something else there, but anyway, Big Dick Johnson now slightly ahead as they come down to the Ravazza then. Turns 14 and 15 of this circuit. Then we've got the Variante Bassa, turns 16 and 17, which are pretty much flat before the start-finish straight. Let's just recap here this race tonight. Waffles in a league of his own. I think these boys, the commentator's curse hasn't worked for a couple of laps, so that might be coming off as people trying to send the tongue twisters through. Rob, I'll give you this latest tongue twister about Bobby Eddie's fish, if you want to take it away.
How much fish would Bobby fish if Bobby Fish could fish?
Nicely done there. Love it. And Cartoon, is that Glock? Yes! And yes, then we pan across to Felipe Massa's dad going off before getting told the news. Classic race, that one. 13 people watching this, and so you should be. Where the fuck else would you really want to be? Wilco!
That's ridiculous! We'll go up the inside. We'll go on the inside of Big Dick. Big Dick got smashed by a fucking Dimple Chipple.
Jesus!
Oh, they're banging on the insides of Big Dick Johnno banging the insides of Jason. This is absolutely exciting.
He's just slotting it inside and then taking it back out and then diving back in again. Hackett and Thorpe and Hackett, stroke for stroke. Lap 11 out of 15, just 4 laps to go into the end of this one, and it looks like they're coming up to some traffic. It could be OGT, who's OMG at the moment when he sees this lot in his mirrors. He'll have to be pretty quick to get out of the way there. I'd say, as Brad says, I've missed this. God, I've missed you too, Bradley. And thanks for joining us here tonight. 12 people watching, 88 comments, 4 laps to go. What a race we have on our hands here, Roberta.
Yeah, what a race. Jim Bill, $10 if it rains. Well, guess what's on the camera screen right now? That's not rain. That is my excitement. My excitement juices about Big Dick Johnno going on the inside of Wilco.
Oh, look at that. The juices are flowing. That is right, Jim Bill. I would like to think that you're subscribed to this channel, Jim Bill. Wouldn't be at all pleased if you're not. $10 if you subscribe. And I reckon we are going to rain. We are going to rain. It is going to rain. Fucking hell, talk about rusty. As Wilco, who's somehow commented, somehow commented while he's in the heat of this battle. Jesus, that's impressive. Oh, Wilco!
Oh, Wilco!
Don't fucking text and drive!
Oh, my Lord!
Oh! He's off! Spin! Round he goes! And this is incredible. He was texting and driving, and Jesus, he's really paid the price there.
A Dimple Wimple went into Jason, so Jason is now the sloppy seconds on the field because after a Big Dick he likes a Dimple Wimple on the inside, and I can only assume that's a horrible thing to have, and everything's going blank, Trev. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, the rain's coming down, the circuit is wet, and I'll be honest, I'm a little bit wet at the same time.
It certainly is. That's when you do your best work, in the dark, when it's nice and wet. We might just leave it there, as LJ Hooker says perhaps Wilco tried to take a selfie, and or whatever he did, it didn't work because he is currently back down in 5th place at the moment, and it's pissing down at the minute with just 3 laps to go. Beautiful shot there as they come up to whatever corner this is, the Variante Alta. Thank you very much for that. Big Dick Johnson now. They have been trading places. It's been pretty stagnant up at the front with Waffles just doing what he does best out there. But then it's Short Fuse in P2, so continuing their dominance from qualifying. Do you stay out or pit? Can't do. That's the question, Rob. Is that just OGT there moving out of the way? And do they come into the pits, Rob?
You come into the pits, Trev. You got to come into the pits. This is ridiculous. You can't race in the wet with slick tyres. You're just going to be turning around and around, and certainly around, and maybe around, Trev, because there's no point. There's no point. I mean, they're lucky there's no damage at the moment, but if the damage was turned on, you would certainly be visiting Santa's statue over there, just beyond those trees. For a long visit. Of course, our man Jesus Christ will take care of you. Praise Jesus. We're a very Christian family channel here, but yes, it's a bit of a weird bit. I just don't understand why they're not. I mean, you see, look at them, it's just sideways now. That's not because the Mustang's quick, it's just because it's just too wet. This is ridiculous.
Well, approaching the penultimate lap of this race, LJ Hooker, you're the best. He says some people will chance it and stay out on the dry tyres. Brad saying, Wilco, no texting and driving, mate. Yep, that's for sure. But look how wet the track is. It's just like a skating rink, and Waffles has come into the pits. This is incredible. He did have quite a handy lead, but I reckon you've got to come into the pits. You've got to make that call. Even with 2 laps left, Rob, you're just going to lose so much time. And as Martin Brundle would say, you've got to just tread like you've got to just limp around like you've got an egg under the accelerator pedal. It's just so wet, look. As Big Dick Johnson now, and I reckon his Waffle's going to get out. I think he's going to get out easily, isn't he, and maintain that first place. God. As Jim Bill, he's Cart Dude saying, look how wet the track is, wetter than a thirsty girl on Tinder. That's naughty. You're not sure we can say that, but we still do anyway. And Jim Bill says, yeah, I kind of lied about the $10, but I did turn the notifications on. Fantastic stuff. And it's good that he's turned notifications on, Rob. Next month when we upload, he will be the first, one of the first to know. That is absolutely magnificent. As LJ Hooker says, ha ha ha, Cardi, nice, I think. And Brad says, bitches be thirsty. Penultimate lap of this race, and Short Fuse now is in the lead. Incredible finish to this race, Rob.
Incredible finish indeed, but something tells me on the inside that as soon as it started getting a little bit slippery, that's probably when you should have put the wets on, because look how quick it changed. It's ridiculous, Trev, and Waffles is only going to eat into that lead of Short Fuse, and I don't know, it could go straight down to the line, wet tyre versus dry tyre, and we all know what's going to happen there. But yeah, this is too much excitement for my ticket, mate. I eat too much KFC. It's too clogged up with the old fatty acids right in the old heart pumper, so I might have a heart attack in 2 seconds.
Yes, well, that would not be great for me, that's for sure. As we see Dimple coming into the pit lane, can Waffles catch him? Him being Short Fuse now, second last lap of the race. 114 comments. It's been great to have your company. Shorty is known to spin at the wrong time, says LJ Hooker, and it's just so wet, says Wilco. Don't mind a bit of KFC myself. I try and keep it to the weekends, but not always the case. The old zinger bacon and cheese, 3 wicked wings, large potato and gravy, just because I can. And I don't mind throwing in the bread roll there too, just to help with the grease. But penultimate lap of this race, Compact, where is he? P3 at the moment, and Waffles is hunting Short Fuse down like Cardinal Pell on an altar boy at Easter. I've got to say, can he catch him? The gap is staying at 17 seconds, and this rain really has turned this race on its head.
It really, really has. I mean, there's nothing better, though, than Trev to throw a bone into a nice greasy box, especially on the weekends. I do like my KFC indeed, but yeah, I think Waffles has made the right decision here. I think Short Fuse just started his the last lap, so there could be an interesting crossover. I mean, it's just too hard to tell, but Short Fuse, you can just see him there, just taking it easy. He knows what to do in these conditions. Just take it easy, slow. You know, he knows what he's doing, although he just sounded like he hit the rev limiter in the wet with dry tyres. You can just see he almost absolutely put it into the wall there. And that would have been absolutely hilarious, because it would have been on film and everybody would have seen it. And then we would have laughed at him for the rest of the season. What an absolute idiot. But none of that did happen, and now he looks like a hero. Yes, he certainly does, but it's not over yet. Could Waffles or somebody else do a Stephen Bradbury and take it right at the line, but he's got to tiptoe so carefully. Lap 15, one. Well, this is it. Only half a lap or so as he comes down. Wilco now on the penultimate lap. Where is he? He's got back up into 4th position. Shitloads behind Compact there in P3, so it's looking like 1, 2 and 3 is going to be fairly settled. As LJ Hooker said, Shorty is known to spin at the wrong time, and he almost did it down there at the Tosa hairpin.
And Cart Dude says $10 for 10 tenders. That sounds pretty fucking delicious, but it always shits me when they don't put in the appropriate amount of sauces. In fact, sometimes they forget the fucking sauces, but we will leave it there because we are nearly at the end of this one. LJ Hooker. Well, Rob, he wants us around longer. He says not enough race time here.
Not enough race time. I don't believe that's about us, Trev, although as I like to think that we're important enough for some more race time. I'll be honest, and he's fucking sent it too hard. He sent it too hard in the last corner. He spun out, and now Waffles is going to pass him.
Oh,
wait, no, that was somebody else. I've absolutely fucked up the call. I've ridiculously fucked up the call. Short fuse on dry tyres takes the race win. Waffles in bits second. Taking the gamble with the wets and probably the smart gamble indeed, but at the end he lost the race, so he is the first of the losers. But the big one here is these two on wet tyres going hammers and tongs or hammers, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. My money will be on Big Dick Jono, because I know it will make Jason Wilkinson very angry if I support somebody else.
You cannot say that. As Wilco now in P4, and Big Dick Johnson, not for the first time this evening, he could possibly have a Big Dick down the inside of him in the wet, and that'll be a little bit less painful, you'd say, but nothing will be able to, or I don't know where I'm going with that, but LJ Hooker says I called it. And boy, we fucked up a little bit there, didn't we? I think it was somebody else went off. Short Fuse is thinking, I didn't fuck up, somebody else did. As the race is over, Short Fuse takes the win. And the rain really did toss the cat amongst the pigeons. And in the final few laps of this race, Waffles, after leading everything this evening, comes home second by 3 and a bit seconds.
No!
Oh! Big Dick Johnson, who should be good in the wet. You'd think he'd do some of his best work in the wet, has absolutely bottled it coming through the last couple of corners, and now Wilco crosses the line. There we go to take P4 here at Imola. What a race we have seen. We started with 11 drivers, we finished with 7, and it was Short Fuse taking the win.
Big Dick Jono got him on the line. Wilco slowed down and Jono was like, no, fuck you, that is mine. Oh no, I've fucked that call up too.
Oh yes, that's why we're a little rusty, but we will be back each and every week. I've lost the plot a bit here, Rob, but anyway, Short Fuse winning just by 1.9 seconds then ahead of Waffles in P2. We'll get our top 3 podium finishes into the post-race interviews, and Wilco says I ran out of fuel. Brad says Jimbo on the podium. Wilco, our man Wilco, finishing in 4th. Big Dick Johnson in 5th. Dimple in 6th, OGT in 7th, Bong Daz in 8th, and that's I pretty much think that's all who finished. We will get our top 3, like we mentioned, into the post-race press conferences, but you've got to say, Rob, a race where everybody had their issues, really, apart from maybe the top 2, but still an eventful race nonetheless.
Very eventful, and of course this is a Christian channel, and sometimes we get a little bit too excited and we say the words fucking cunt, and we also make Lebanese jokes and of course pedophile jokes and Christian jokes, but we all love Jesus and we love Compact as well.
Yep, don't forget about the Holocaust either. We've covered it all.
Well, we love the Holocaust. That's our favourite subject.
With a steely look in his eyes. Yes, anyway. Walking down the chalet to the Burkhoff. Anyway, we'll just forget about that at the moment. That's something to discuss off air. As Wilco says, I ran out of fuel. And, got you there, Wilco and Hooked. A bit of bromance there as Short Fuse joins our post-race press conference. I'll let you... can you hear a Short Fuse? And second of all, you're allowing your voice to be shared. Well, that's just absolutely terrific, mate. Talk us through your race. A bit of a master stroke there with the strategy and the changeable conditions, mate. Tell us what happened there. You had a penalty, but you still managed to sneak home for the win in the end. Awesome stuff, mate, and quite an eventful race. Everyone got away to a reasonably clean start, but there was a lot of cars flying everywhere, mate. The commentator's curse was real tonight. Yes, that's for sure. We're getting word that they can't hear you, apparently, Short Fuse. So, Rob, would you like to provide us with a few words from Short Fuse in his own language?
Ah, yes. Meinen Auto ist sehr gut. Ich mag die Juden. Ich liebe de Dick. Gute Nacht.
Ah, yes, lieben Sie Dick. Ah, very good stuff. Short Fuse, thank you for your comments. I didn't know he was German. I'm assuming that was German. Anyway, thank you, Short Fuse. Great victory tonight. But, yeah, awesome stuff. And hopefully we'll catch you next week wherever we're racing and whatever we're doing, mate. Congratulations. Yep. Awesome. Can't wait for that next Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Leave a like, all that jazz. I don't think we've got any other drivers, do we? Short Fuse has left the
compact. We've got a compact.
We do have compact, and compact P3. It was getting pretty hectic there, the battle for the final podium position, mate. But you managed to survive the chaos and get through it to take P3.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Decided to take the risk and stay out on the slicks while the other boys went and pitted for wets.
It's pretty exciting, I'll be honest, compact, and you drove a pretty good race, I'll be honest. But yeah, it just looked a bit unfun towards the end there. Just everybody going pirouetting, and not even in the wet. I think the wet was probably the best conditions for everybody. It just like the dry part of the race, everybody was just doing 360s, and I only saw you do one, so I think you're the biggest grinner there.
Yeah, with a bit of helping hand from Jono himself, Big Dog Jono. Went for a bit of a dive and take the back of me.
You're not the only one to feel the big dick tonight, trust me.
Nah.
All right, good stuff as Wilco. Thank you for that compact. P3 tonight, congratulations, mate. Good result in the end.
Cheers.
Awesome, good stuff. We will catch you next week as Wilco. He wants an invite. Says invite Brody and I to the party. I don't think we've spoken to Waffles. I don't think yet. Is Waffles around?
Is currently taken ill. I gave him a vial of Zyklon B earlier, and apparently it's not done. It's upset his stomach a little bit, mate.
Well, we've got a few. Do we have a few short words from Waffles before we invite Wilco into the party?
Yeah,
Yep.
Waffles does sound like a gay German. Ja, mein Auto, it was sehr gut. I took a bigger dick in my asshole, and now I have Zyklon B stuck in my tum-tum, and it really hurts.
Oh, this just gets funnier. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, danke, Auf Wiedersehen to you.
Auf Wiedersehen, Trevor.
Thank you, Waffles. And we just might hear from Waffles briefly before we invite Wilco into the party. He says, I had a very good race. My qualifying was quite dominant. I had quite an advantage in qualifying before really fucking it up late in the race when the rain came. Also, I take big gay German dicks in the arse. Thank you for that.
What?
It doesn't sound as classy in German, does it, as our man Wilco joins us. And I've got to say, Wilco, not a bad return to the box. We're a little bit rusty, but still we've got the views, and that's what it's all about. We're a bit of a whore for the old views, you've got to say.
Yeah, get me views. Yeah. It was pretty good. Jono and I put on a battle with who was the other guy in it? I can't remember his name. I've forgotten now.
Dalrymple Dimple.
That's it. Sorry, Dimple. And had a good fun. And then that rain, it was Sydney 500 rain. They're all on the fence or off the track. And yes, I was texting and driving, but who cares?
That's right, as long as you do it on Project Cast 2 and not in real life. But a little bit surprised that we haven't been kicked off air yet, Rob. We've gone with Cardinal Pal, Zyklon B and a few other things. But anyway, we are still on the air as far as I can see. As Bradley says, Wilco for PM. Wilco, are you thinking of politics potentially in the future?
Well, yes, because we're going to make everyone has to watch motorsport. The government has to give everyone some beautiful sim rigs, and Big Shep can be my deputy.
Yep, and don't forget about those camps either for those who oppose you. But I think we're almost out of time. We are just about done here.
Rob's the what do they call him? The general, the guy who does all the all that stuff.
Yes, I was practicing my salutes earlier on today, and I can tell you I am fully ready for my new position.
Certainly is. President of KRL, seems qualified as. Thank you, Brad, and everybody for watching tonight. Wilco, any scoop on where we might be next week, or we'll just wait and see?
I've got no fucking idea.
Awesome.
Hopefully,
Did somebody say KFC?
I don't
God,
care.
that sounds pretty good.
I love it.
and Brody's shouting us KFC.
Yep.
As
That's
a
right.
man who raises the chickens of KFC, I can only assure you that the best and greatest things go into our chickens every day. So I applaud all of you to eat KFC every day to keep me employed.
Did I ask what goes into the chickens every day with you, Rob, or?
My big dick.
Yeah, according to his boss, apparently. All right, so that's all we've got time for here this evening. It's been great to have your company here tonight on the Kid Buyers channel, the KRL Championship social race tonight. GT4 cars, it was absolutely magnificent. Thanks for your company here tonight. We will be back, or should be back, next week. Maybe not in 3 weeks, Wilco. We'll be staggering back from Albert Park, the Albert Park circuit on Thursday the 12th. But anyway, thank you to everybody for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already for more exciting, more of this magnificent champagne comedy that we do here on the Kid Buyers YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Be kind to one another. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Your dick stinks.